right, so I go on a decent amount of work trips and some personal stuff for travel. And a lot of times on these trips, it consists of like late nights, early mornings, and really just tired, exhausted. Spending 8, 9 hours all day in a conference room is not the most thrilling thing of all time. And I usually try and get my workout in first thing because you got to dinner and hang out after work and stuff like that with your friends and colleagues. So I try and knock that out super early. And one of my favorite things is usually when I come back into the lobby at like 7 a.m. or so, it's the same question every time. Like, man, I can't believe you got up early. I don't know how you do it. And that's like my favorite question. And in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about that question and what that means to me. So, see ya. When most men ask how, right? How do you do that? They're looking for some hack or some tip or some superpower, but really what they're looking for is an excuse to stay in bed, right? Oh, this guy's different. He's got it made. He went to bed early last night. I didn't, blah, blah, blah. It's all just excuses, right? And I'm there all the time, for sure. What I try and do is limit that though. But the fact is there is no superpower, right? We're all human. We're all exhausted out in the morning, all that stuff. What there is, though, is this concept of the negotiator. When you don't want to wake up and work out, you start brokering deals in your head, right? Oh, it's raining. Or, oh, I'll move my workout to tomorrow. Or, oh, if I just swap this and get off early, I'll get my workout done this afternoon. So you're literally actively deal making while you're sitting there, while you're laying in bed, putting your shoes on, whatever it is, right? And if you do this, you've already lost. It just shows that you're honestly, you're not committed. And I can tell you that because I know how that feels. I feel that all the time, actually. What I try and do is limit that. And the best way that I found to do that is to make a commitment. And so for me, I commit to doing my morning training session the night before, right? And we've all heard that, but I'm not talking about, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm talking about like, hey, I'm doing it. Tomorrow morning is a training session. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna wake up and do it because I'm committed to myself, to my goals, to my future. And there is no choice. You don't wake up and make a choice. You just wake up and do it because you've already made the choice. And thinking about it that way, yeah, that might be a bit firm or too stoic or rigid, but that is truly how I think about it. And I think that's the best way to succeed when doing that. Another thing, too, I mentioned it earlier, is, or I might have, I don't remember, this concept of the floor versus the ceiling. And so, when most people look at their day and they have their journals, right? I have one, I keep my log, my highlights of the day. That's the peaks, right? And we all like the peaks. Those are the highlight reels, sure. But what nobody talks about is the floor. Like, what's the bare standard that you've set for yourself day in and day out? And so, for me, that might be a walk. That might be a training session most days a week. That might be getting my work tasks done and getting some focus time in after work to do my passions, stuff like this, right? For you, it might be different. But that is my floor. That's the baseline of a day. And honestly, my floor might be the equivalent to some men's peaks. And that's not because I'm better. That's not because I'm more disciplined. That's just because I set a standard for my day and I don't let time get away from me. Sometimes I do, but I try not to, right? Because I look at that floor versus ceiling concept, and that's what really helps. These morning training sessions, whether it's run, weightlifting, walks or rucks, whatever's your thing, people think, oh, that's their cardio or their exercise for the day. Well, yes, that is what that is. You should look at it for more than that, right? That's the 30 minutes or the 1 hour a day where you're not the father, you're not the brother or the husband. You're just a man out there doing your thing, right? You can kind of let some of that responsibility go and just focus in the moment. So it's very intentional time, and I really enjoy that. Kind of transitioning, people think that these sessions are about the body, and while, yeah, okay, you can do hypertrophy training and build your muscles, right? You can go and do endurance training and go get fitter, or increase your VO2 max, or whatever that is. That's great. But it is much more about, I read somewhere sometime that doing these sessions, it's like lab work. Or in college, if you went, you did labs, right? Where you kind of work on the principles that you learned in class in more of an academic setting and apply them to something. That's how I kind of look at training, right? I read a lot of self-help and things like that. You may not, but they're important to me. And I go and put those, one, I consume a lot of that stuff while I'm running, while I'm training. But two, it's where I process a lot of this stuff. You know, I don't really do good work sitting in a chair. Being still, I'm a mover and fidgeter, and I like to do that kind of thing. And for me, these training sessions allow for that. It's where I work on stuff. And it really sets myself up to be calm later. Because if I didn't do these morning sessions, I'd be bouncing off the walls all over the place, right? With anxiety or hypertension, I don't know, right? All this stuff. The morning is where I work on this. And then later in the day, when some fire comes up for some meeting, that's easy, right? I can just sit back, be dialed, look at the people around me and say, okay, how are we going to deal with this? And that morning training session allows for that. Leadership isn't a title. It is really truly a requirement or a standard that you hold yourself to. And you should hold yourself to a standard that you expect more out of yourself than you do others. Right? Leaders lead themselves first. And if you can't do that, you're in big trouble. And so stop asking how other people do it. You know, what makes them different or how can they do that? That's just a search for an excuse. So you need to get rid of that out of your mind. You don't need some new hack, right? Or some new habit tracker or some new journal or app or whatever that is. What you need to do is commit to the things that you want to set for yourself, your goals, your ambitions, your intentions, whatever that is. Commit to those and stop negotiating with yourself, right? If you say you're going to do it, then do it. When it sucks, that doesn't change anything, right? You still do it because you're committed. And so if that resonated with you, love for you to drop a like or a comment and let me know what you think. If you want to follow along, of course, feel free to subscribe. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.